Welcome, folks, to another electrifying episode of FutureProof Careers, where we charge up your career prospects with your insights from those shaping the future of work. Today, we're plugging into the world of the electrical trade, where none other than Chris Henderson, known across social media as Hendy The Sparky. This 24-year-old dynamo from Medford, New Jersey, is not only a master of vaults and circuits, but also a beacon for the next generation of electricians. Now, Chris' journey is charged with decisions that defy convention, opting for the spark of the trade world over the white-collar path he set to follow. With that being said, he comes from a lineage of electricians, including his father, with over 30 years in the trade. And Chris brings a current of tradition and innovations to our conversation. So if you're ready to light up your career path and connect with the energy of success, stay tuned. Chris is here to fuse practical advice with live wire insights of making, the modern trade landscape, and will pretty much give you true insights. So if you guys are ready, let's get energized and uncover what it truly takes to thrive in an electrifying world of an electrician. So Chris, I want to thank you again, me as well as many. We appreciate you for coming down on the couch with us today. If you could, man, introduce yourself. I know I gave you a slight introduction, but if you could tell our viewers who you are that aren't familiar with you. I know I'm familiar with you from just seeing some of your amazing content on TikTok, but if you could just give us a formal introduction, we'd greatly appreciate it.
Of course, yes. So to everybody viewing, yes, my name is Chris Henderson. My TikTok name is Hendy The Sparky. That's just my stage name. And I am a 24-year-old electrician from Milford, New Jersey. And I currently have 5 years of experience in the electrical trade. My father has over 30 years of experience in electrical trade. He was actually my reason continue the electrical trade, as he was telling me that the future is electric vehicles, the future is AI, that don't pursue a white collar job because the blue collar is going to be in more demand over these next few years because of this increase in electric vehicle charging, electric vehicle chargers, electric vehicles, and AI. So I just want to, promote my content to all the youth to pursue a blue collar trade, because this is the future and this is where the money is going to be.
All right, folks, you heard that live from the man himself. So with that being stated, Chris, we want to go ahead and get this conversation, because I know me and Minnie, we both have a ton of questions for you, as well as our viewers that may be writing, taking notes at this exact moment, listening to this podcast, whether it's, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, LinkedIn. They may be highly interested in how did you go ahead and decide to come about it. I know you gave us a brief glimpse that your dad gave you the insights of what the future lies ahead, but seeing, your background, you graduated from college and you decided to then transition over to the trades. How was that whole transition for you? What was the biggest decision behind that, if you don't mind?
Yeah. So I can tell you right away. So I went to a 4-year university, actually in New Jersey, called Rowan University. I did my full 4 years. I was actually a good student, did good grades. I graduated, and as soon as I graduated, I landed a hotel management intern for a company. And I realized, after working there for a few months, I wasn't really happy. I wasn't satisfied, with my pay first, and wasn't satisfied with my career choice. And throughout growing up, it's always, I feel like there's this presence that you have to follow this route, ABC. Like, you need to go to high school, you need to go to college for 4 years, and then you got to land this job. Now, I did that, but during my experiences, I realized that the money is really where the blue collar trades are at. And I saw that from my dad, because my dad was an electrician for over 30 years, and he raised us as a good family. he did provide some good income as an electrician. And he always told me, hey man, you're one day going to become an electrician because with these electric vehicles, the money's going to be very abundant. There's going to be a lot of demand and not a lot of people are going to know how to install these car chargers. So I saw that as a business and a business decision to pursue the electrical trade so I can start installing these car chargers for all residents in New Jersey. And now our phone is blowing through the roof. We're booked more for months in our company. I'm busy. Our whole company is booked for a long time. And just for installing car chargers, it's not even other service work. It's only electric vehicle cars, all brands, Tesla, BMW, Hyundai, and they don't have enough people who know how to do this type of installs. So that's why I try to promote in my content, hey, go to high school and learn a skilled trade because there's big demand and big money and not a lot of people know how to do this type of work.
Most people don't tend to, go to college, take out all that debt, and then decide to go into the trade. So for you to be able to have the self-awareness to say, you know what, I see an opportunity here, as well as taking the advice from dad, that speaks volumes to just how you were raised, at the same time, the type of individual you are. So with that being stated, I know that you currently have your EV company that you started, as well as you have your electrical business as well. With that being said, what insights can you give us into the industry? We see it is a growing, massively as an industry, but
Yeah.
what are some insights that you're seeing currently amongst the trends? Are you seeing more EV versus more electrical work, or is it both from both sides? It's just high demand at this moment in time.
It's more high demand specifically on electric vehicle charging. Most of the inquiries that we're getting as an electrical company is really for installing these chargers, and specifically it's home charging. So I would say we're getting recently more electric vehicle charging work than your standard electrical work, such as like outlets, lights, switches. So that's what we've been recently seeing as a trend,
Okay. Well, I know Minnie, she has a question for you. So go ahead, Minnie, shoot away.
Yeah. So are there any specific skills that you would need just for EV industry versus your typical electrician?
Yeah.
Entering the industry, do they need to focus on something different or just a basic trade skill would be enough?
So you need to go to trade school or start an apprenticeship in order to get yourself into the electrical field. Now, everyone's route is different. Like my father, he's been in the field for over 30 years. So I was actually able to, I like to say the term, dip my feet into the trade. I wasn't necessarily doing, crazy electrical work when I was younger, but 5 years ago, I was just helping my dad get stuck out the van. I was helping my dad bring some tools to his work truck, that little stuff, and getting familiar with how to do certain things. So I was able to dip my feet and get some hours in, getting used to the electrical field. But my biggest advice is for any younger people who want to start the electrical field is to get an apprenticeship or start trade school. And that way you get yourself hands-on experience with wiring up, outlets, switches, and these car chargers. And I'm going to say that in the next few years, all these trade schools all across the country, they're going to start innovating home charging and installing car chargers into their trade schools. I would highly recommend for any young guys, go to trade school or apprenticeship.
Got it. Cool. And how much time typically would it need to become get enough experience to land a job in your company?
To land a job in my company, our company is family owned and operated. So, in order to land a job, you would need at least a year of experience, hands-on at a trade school or apprenticeship. We do offer ranges. So, an apprentice, that's what they call an inexperienced. That's what an apprentice is, the electrician, versus a journeyman. And a journeyman is an electrician who is qualified, who we can send out to anyone's home and install a car charger. They can install anything. So all of our business work is always a journeyman and an apprentice. You need at least 2 people going to these people's homes to install a car charger.
Perfect. So, folks, you hear that? 1 year of experience in a trade school or apprenticeship, and then you guys can reach out to Chris and see how you guys can be a part of the business. And pretty much from there, you know for sure that you come in as an apprentice, but then you'd be learning from grade A, journeyman like Chris and his father. So, with that being stated, Chris, can you discuss some of the challenges and opportunities that you've encountered, particularly with the rise of EV?
Sometimes it's with the rise of the EV, it's sometimes it's the software of the chargers, believe it or not. And it's not just, straightforward, everyone makes this example, oh, it's so easy to install a car charger, it's easy to install outlets, you connect black with black and white with white. No, it's not that easy. When you install these chargers, you have to, program them and collaborate. You have to, get your smartphone and install an app and make sure it's connected to Wi-Fi. Now, these little steps, they don't teach you that in trade school. You learn this by working with a qualified electrician and working in the field. So my biggest also advice to anybody listening is get experience with a qualified electrician in the field, such as, my company or someone else, a qualified company. That way you can see how they're doing the full process.
All right, folks, you're hearing it from Chris, and he's dropping gems right now. So it's not what you think it is. It's not as simple and easy. So whereas that training is definitely going to come in handy, going to a trade school or taking an apprenticeship, learning on the job, and then at the same time taking tech and merging it with blue collar, in which me and Minnie, we claimed it as blue tech. So whereas that's the future of where we're going right now. With that being said, with how technology is advancing, like smart home integration, how's that impacting your profession right now? Are you seeing that you guys are having to learn more so a lot of the software, especially when you're speaking about connecting to, say, some of these EV chargers and running and making sure that it's linking up with the physical hardware itself with the software? So how's that having or playing an impact in your field?
Yeah, I always tell people in the electrical field, you always learn something new every day. And it's like not any other job where, let's say, like a white collar 9 to 5, you have a straightforward, you kind of know and expect what you're doing. Versus in a blue collar job, you might run into something that, wow, like I did not expect this to happen. Whoa, I did not expect charger to have this software update, or something that is going to really challenge you. And it makes you think outside the box a little bit. So, I would just say to anybody listening that anyone that wants to join the electrical field, be open to challenges and don't be scared of these challenges. They're only going to better you and make you a better electrician.
All right, folks. I'm telling you, we're connecting you guys with guests that are dropping free gems to whereas it can make the path of identifying where you guys can go into a lot easier, but setting realistic frameworks and guidelines and things that you guys may encounter when you do go into this field. So it's not going to be, all glory. It will be some level of difficulty. Chris, I'm asking you right now, would you say one of the biggest, attributes that an individual needs to have coming into this field, would it be the mindset? Would that be probably the biggest thing?
Yes. So anybody who is considering a blue collar trade, you definitely, I will say, you will need to have a driven mindset. And what I mean by driven is that you need to be able to handle pressure sometimes, because there's always you're going to be learning something new, and you need to be able to adapt. And like, for example, I've had some EV charger installs or some electrical jobs where I think, well, it's going to take only 4 hours. Sometimes it takes me 6 hours because I've run into, an unexpected complication. There's something that just, let's say, like when I'm drilling into someone's home and, their wall is made of a certain material where it takes me an additional labor to get my wires through. That's just an example. So you don't really know till you do the job, but my biggest advice is to be driven if you want to consider a blue collar trade and start, getting that mindset that you just need to power through.
Okay, folks. So mindset is key. That's probably going to be your biggest thing coming into this industry or any blue collar trade industry. As you heard previous guests say, mindset, being driven, having some type of motivation to withstand difficult times. This is what's going to really cause you to have a make or break. It's either going to make or break you. If you don't have it, it will not work for you. But if you do, the sky's the limit. So right now, Chris, with us seeing this massive shift to EV as well as within the electrical trade, what are some of the issues that you guys are facing right now with labor shortages? Because like we're speaking to individuals that may be sitting at home right now contemplating, where do I place that right now? I don't really want to go to college, take out a ton of debt, but at the same time, I don't want to work at McDonald's or Walmart or work in a warehouse. I want something that can actually provide me skills to pay the bills. So what are some of the labor shortages that you guys are seeing from the industry from this standpoint?
Well, I'm going to be honest, there's not really too much labor shortages at all that I've been seeing on the electrical side. Now, it could be different with other blue collar trades, but I know with electrical work, if you call, most people when they're searching for an electrician, such as a customer that is looking for service, they type in on Google, electrician near me. And I know this because I've heard from our customers, they search electrician near me and they have the top 3 come up and then they'll see other electricians. When they call electrician, most of the time they're actually busy and they need laborers. They don't have enough laborers. They need more work. And most of the time their schedule is put out. So I don't really see too much labor shortages. So that's why I would recommend anyone from high school, if you are wanting to pursue the blue collar route, do it from high school. So graduate high school and start right away because you can make some big money just coming right out of high school instead of piling this ridiculous college debt.
So you really segue perfectly right into my next question, Chris. And this is pretty much, can you provide us a realistic view of what the earning potential is right now in the electrical trade, particularly for those coming in new into the field?
So realistic wages now, they range from an apprentice starting off, 1 year, no experience. Well, obviously getting 1 year, you'd be looking anywhere usually from $20 to $25 an hour. And that's, standard. That's just getting your foot in and you're working. Now, as you get more experience though, it goes up from there. That's usually the base. Now, journeymen, they can make up to $40 to $50 an hour. And that's, 3 to 4 years of experience. And that's usually like a journeyman rate, I would say. And then we have union electricians too, as well. I don't know if you see online, but the IBEW, which is International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, their highest right now is $126 an hour. And I tell that to like a lot of my viewers, and like, it's just the money is there for the electrical. It's just that who wants to do it? The jobs that really pay is who wants to do it. And I go to these service calls all around my town, and they're like, you're the youngest electrician we've ever seen. That's the type of reaction I get from my customers because there's nobody doing it my age. That's what I'm trying to push in my content on TikTok, Hendy The Sparky, is that you can really pursue, right now is a great time to pursue a blue collar trade because there's nobody really doing it now, and you can be early and you can make a lot of money and even really start your own business, and the sky's the limit there.
So you hear that, folks. It's a massive opportunity to whereas you can be 24 years old and put in this type of work. If you come straight out of high school, become a journeyman and make upwards of $120+ an hour if you join a union. So I know we have had previous guests on, and most of them stated to reach out to your local union, get connected with your local union, because they will at least connect you with organizations, companies that will break you into these roles. Is that similar right now out there in your area as well? Especially with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Work, is that something that they're also interested in or allowing, young high schoolers to come out of school, jump
Yeah.
on and pretty much grow?
Yeah, so you can just search online, IBEW, or search electrical union. You just need to take you have to take a math test. There's a comprehensive math test, and you can just go from there. And so I just gave an example of, what the highest union salary for electrician is currently hourly. However, it comes different if you're planning to run your own business. And that's really what my boat is. So my father's been an electrician for over 30 years, and he has an electrical business. However, with me joining the field, I've been trying to take it to another level, exposing the business to more marketing, and especially as electric vehicle charging, network and industry, I've been exposing the business to this type of work, which is only growing it. So
Okay.
if you want to make now, I'm just now going to say, anyone that's coming out of high school, if they want to make the most amount of money in the blue collar trade, they have to do this exact route. Now, you have to graduate high school. You need to complete your apprenticeship in trade school. You need at least 4 to 5 years of experience in the field. And then you can start and get your master electrical license. And when you have the master electrical license, you can start your own business. And when you have your own business, though, it's only for certain electricians, because you need to then now have that really brave mindset to take on the overhead of a business. And that's where you make the most amount of money, but that's not for everybody. And I try to explain that in my videos that not anybody just wants to, go start a business and take that responsibility of, hiring people and doing all this. But it's for my entrepreneurial electricians. So there's a lot of routes you can take. You can be a great electrical employee, or you can be a great electrical entrepreneur.
Okay, folks, you hear that? So with that being stated, Chris, one thing that we try to make sure that we also paint a realistic view on, what are the normal day in the life like? Is it constant changes? Are you working sometimes 6 hours a day and then possibly on another job working 14 hours? Can you paint that picture for some of our viewers that may be
Yeah,
be
yeah.
interested?
So I can give you like a schedule of like a week. So I'll have, a planned out schedule Monday through Friday with electric vehicle charger installs. So typically our average is, 2 a day, so per team. So I'll be out typically from 8 a.m. to roughly 6 p.m. That's an average day of just going out and doing electrical service calls. But however, while I'm doing that work, I'm also getting calls, from other residents or customers who are looking for service. So I have to, answer the phone and put down the inquiry on my phone. So that way I say, sir, we'll put you on the schedule. Yes, be more than happy to help. We'll put you on the schedule. So I'm doing that from like 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And as soon as I come, I'll go on my computer, I'll put them on the schedule, I'll send them an estimate, and then it repeats. So that's pretty much my schedule.
Is that
Right.
more because you're managing your own business, or is
Yes.
it was just like an employee? What would that schedule look like?
Oh, just for employee? Yes, just a standard 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. I was just giving you my what I do. So I'm like an employee, technically, also an estimator. I'm an overhead manager. So I'm a business overhead. So that's what really I do. I do the phone calls, I do the estimating, I deal with the customers one-on-one, personal. Because one thing is doing electrical work, and another thing is dealing with the customer, right? That's a completely different ballgame. So I do all.
So for a
Okay.
typical person who's an employee, it's like a lot less stressful work.
Yes. It's just all you just need is electrical work. Yes. Electrical experience.
Okay, and it is like standard from 8 to 6. No
Yes.
no like 40, 80-hour work week, nothing of that sort.
Yes.
Okay. So with that being stated, Chris, right now, seeing that you do have this solid following on social media across your platforms, right now, for those listening that may be currently going through an apprenticeship and they want to also create content around electrical work or whatever blue collar trade that they're currently in, can you just speak to the fact of how social media has played a big impact not only on your profession but also within your business as well?
I always tell people, yes, social media has positively impacted my business, and for honestly the better. And we've actually gotten more service calls doing content versus not doing any content. So if I would advise for anybody who's starting their own electrical business or any blue collar trade and who wants to do their own thing, I would start making content, because you're only just going to get more customers and more variety and more everything.
You hear that, folks? So if you're an entrepreneur right now and you're contemplating on starting your own electrical company and you've been doing it for a while and you want to go out and start your own, definitely factor in social media because it will help your business for the better, especially if you do it the right way. You have to have that give first approach. And from watching Chris content and being an active follower right now, watching his content, I can tell you he is definitely a give first content creator. On top of him being a phenomenal electrician, as well as running his own business, being a part of the family business and building that legacy, this is definitely a way for you to build that, family generational wealth opportunity if you do it the right way. So with that being said, Chris, I know right now at this current moment in time, you provided us with so many gems in this short period that we've been on this call and have you on the show today. So my question right now, at this moment, right now, what are, you would say was the biggest reward for you thus far being in this industry? Because most people, hear the story, they see your content, they might want to know exactly what was the biggest, thing that really checked that thing off your list that I feel, fulfilled. If it was to call it a wrap today, I'm completely happy with what I've done. What would you say that would be?
The biggest reward and the biggest positive thing that I've seen, from my experience in the electrical field was doing the best work to your ability that you can for any customer and seeing their positive satisfaction on their face when you leave their home. And that's honestly the best thing that I've noticed of doing all these service calls and these electrical chargers for all these residents, is seeing the positive reaction from the customer. And that's what keeps me driving and keeps me going to just keep doing more work for anybody. And that's really what gets me going, is seeing a positive reaction and positive feedback.
All right. Hey, that's one thing I tell everyone. If you really take pride into your work and, really look not so much for the pay, because the pay is going to come with it if you do a phenomenal job, but seeing the satisfaction on your customer's face when you have done a great job, that makes you, 10 times better at the end of the day. So with that being said, Chris, you provided us with a ton of information, a ton of gems. I'm a open the floor up for many. Do you have any additional questions before we ask Chris for some parting advice for the future electricians that may be in the audience, maybe viewing this today? And
Yes.
before we go ahead and wrap it up today.
Yes, I do have a couple of questions. So first one is, where do you see this industry in the next 3 to 5 years? Where do you see it going? What new skills?
In 3 to 5 years, I see parking lots getting ready or already done full of car chargers. I see AI being expanded to a new level, whether it's, you're already seeing it with the cars. You're seeing Tesla with their automated driving. I'm seeing an increase in purchases for electric vehicles, as well as I'm going to see anything electrical or robotic related is going to be increased to the max. And the purpose of my content is I want to inspire and promote to anybody who's young to get into a blue collar field while you're early, so that you can be a part of this dramatic change in our era that we're going to be approaching, and inspire people that, blue collar jobs are not all just grunt work and, physically demanded on the body. It could be, I try to, in my content, make it fun. I try to make it a fun thing as well, and that it doesn't have to just be grunt work. You can look at the other side and you can say, wow, you know what? I really like what I'm doing, and I'm making a difference in our country and everything.
That's cool. So if anybody listening in the audience, if they want to know if there's enough opportunity in this industry before they decide to pivot or consider this area, do you think that there's enough opportunity? Or as a hiring manager, as a person who can potentially hire a lot of people, are you able to fill up your positions quickly, or does it take a lot of time?
So we typically have to, get a resume. That's typically how we do it in our company, just because, some people can say they have this experience, right? But typically they really sometimes don't. So we do typically have to look at resumes and have a training day. But that's just, how we do it. It could be different anywhere else. But I just want to inspire, the youth to pursue blue collar trade, because it's really going to be the demand.
Could you tell me a little bit more about the training day?
The trading game? Yeah. The trades, well, you got HVAC, you have plumbing, anything with the hands on is considered a blue collar trade. So skills.
No, you mentioned like while you're hiring somebody, you have like some process, like they have to give the resume and then they need to go through some training or something.
Yeah, so with the resume, we look at them and then we see what type of skills do they bring to the table. So we look at the resume and we see how many years they have, where and what have they completed, and that's how we look at it. And then from there, and depending on where we are at business-wise, we'll open and tell them to come out.
Okay. Now, when they do come out on that training day, what do you guys throw them through? Do you pretty much throw a job at them and, get them, vibe to whereas you guys can actually hire based off the skills? Because like you stated earlier, someone can state something on the resume and embellish a tad bit. But do you guys, when it comes down to the training day, when they come in and actually sit down with you guys, are you actually putting them through an actual, course or something of that nature, or actually seeing what they're able to do on the job? So whereas then you guys make a skill-based hire at that point.
So we first will have them as a helper. First, seeing what the journeymen do. So that's our qualified guys, our qualified electrician. And we have them take a look and see what we do. And we gradually, it's not like we throw them in. We gradually get their foot in the water and do, for example, one phase of electrical project, the beginning phase. And then from there, they'll stop and then they'll learn and they'll watch how to do the next phase. So it's not just some, random, like rapid learning. It's gradual. So,
Okay. So this is a question that one of my guests, not even guests, one of our viewers had actually sent in earlier today when I told them about who we were having on the show. So they wanted to get your opinion on it. Are you guys open to augmented training? Whereas, are you guys looking at new ways to, fast track individuals to get them upskill to a point whereas they can go out and say assist the journeyman without having to take away so much time from the journeyman training? Are you guys looking in other magnitudes or other avenues of training when it comes down to it?
You know, we haven't really opened up to that. I would necessarily say, since we are growing, so we are a growing business. Now, we'd probably be open to explore that route. But just for now, we've just been taking resumes and seeing years of experience. That's really what we base and what we judge off is the years.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
pretty much, yeah.
So, folks, you hear that? It hasn't, they're open to it down the line, but at the same time, right now, they're willing to take you. If you come in here with the right mindset, right focus, you will be able to then go ahead and get a fair shot, especially if you come in with the right mindset and at least have the skills to back up that resume that you submit over to them. So, last question. This is a little bit futuristic because we are the future-proof careers. So with the whole shift to robotics and having, humanoid robots, do you see humanoid robots replacing electricians in the near future?
I think we lost him.
Oh man, we lost Chris for a moment.
Hope he gets back soon.
Yeah, just give us a few seconds, folks. He'll be back on. But thus far, this conversation has been full of gems, and like I said, it's been truly amazing to see have Chris on the show, Hendy the Sparky, and like folks, if you've been listening, you need to be taking notes right now. You should have been taking notes since the start of this conversation because it's been truly impactful. So, with that
Yeah,
being said, folks, we're
especially
going
if
to
you're
take a quick.
considering college,
Yeah,
if you want to save on the college, you know, loan and focus on high school and earning as soon as you're done with high school, then it's a wonderful opportunity.
yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, folks, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to be back. Let's go ahead and just get Chris back into the conversation before we call it a wrap. Give us a second. Break. Well,
Okay,
folks,
sounds good. All right.
we're back with Hendy the Sparky. Chris, I appreciate you. I know we just had slight technical difficulties, but my man is back. And he's ready to go ahead and finish the conversation and make sure that we end on a good, solid note here. So, with that being said, Chris, just to pick up my last question for you before we had the issue there. What's your take right now on seeing that we are future-proof careers? We want to know exactly what your takes on humanoid robots, and do you see humanoid robots replacing electricians in the near future?
Electrical, anything blue collar trade based where it's a skilled trade, I don't see being very easy for an AI to take over a blue collar trade versus, a white collar job. An AI, I think, would be easier to take over. So that's the beauty that I like to tell my viewers and to people watching is that the beauty of the electrical trade is that an AI can't just come and swoop in on your job because there's something about that human knowledge and that human hands-on labor that you need a human to do electrical work and actually to install something. Just in case something were to even go wrong, you're there.
So you hear that, folks. If you're currently in engineering on the tech side, if you're currently in college right now, as you may be aware, development and technology is getting monopolized right now by AI. So whereas you may not have an opportunity in the next 5 to 10 years in that field, to whereas you are able to take those skills and pivot into these blue collar roles, because from the looks of it, it's not getting replaced by robots. So you don't have to worry about those Tesla robots coming to take your job anytime soon. So with that being said, Chris, I appreciate that. With that being said, I want to make sure that at the same time our viewers get one last bit of advice from you. If one thing that you could share with some young individual that is watching this, contemplating on what to do, or someone that's currently in college and they're unsure that they're going to be able to find an actual job after, completion, what's that one bit of advice that you would like to share?
My biggest advice is to start young and start now. That would be my biggest advice, especially for any blue collar trade. The younger, the better off you're going to be, career wise in a blue collar trade. Because when you're young, you're in your prime. So when you're in your prime, that means you're in your best health and your best state to, take on, I wouldn't say electrical is the most physical job, but you are in your best shape to handle a blue collar job. That's my biggest advice would be to start as quick as you can, start as young as you can, and start.
All right, folks, you hear that? The best time to act is right now. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're contemplating on it, it's opportunity. You heard what Chris is giving you free game. That's what I like to call it, free game. You're getting it from someone that's actually living it on the day-to-day basis, and he's seeing where the industry is going. So hopefully that this episode was able to open your eyes right now. With that being said, I want to thank you again, Chris, for coming out, sharing so much wisdom with us as well as insights. It's been truly amazing. And I want to invite all our listeners to consider a rewarding career in the trades as well as in the electrical trades as well, and join our waitlist at Previewed.Careers, where we focus on rebuilding and revitalizing blue collar careers for Gen Z and millennials, as well as those career pivoters looking for something that's going to pay the bills. So gathering the skills to pay the bills. So with that being
That
said, go
that
ahead,
was
Chris.
great. That was great, Brian. I really liked what you said. Gather the skills to pay the bills. It really is the truth because I see a lot of my peers. So I'm 24 years old and I'm in this blue collar trade, an electrician. And I see a lot of my peers who, have graduated college, went through the 4 years, they landed a white collar job. And I wouldn't say it's not bad pay, but it's not the best pay. And versus my blue collar friends, I've been seeing more success. I've been seeing a better income and they can actually pay the bills. Believe it or not, it's like this switch. It's this switch. So I
Yeah, we're seeing that shift right now in real time, and it's an amazing time to be alive. So, with that being said, Chris, I thank you again. And with your insights, for you to be so young, man, I know the sky's the limits for you. So, in the next 10 years or so, you guys are going to have a chain of electrical branches all across the country. I can just see it and envision it, and being probably one of the leaders in building out these charging stations across the nation. So, we hope you the best and wish you the best, but at the same time, we thank you. And for all our viewers, if you're interested in staying connected with Chris, connect with him on TikTok and all his social media handles at Hendy The Sparky, and he's going to give you a ton of information, more in depth, providing you true insights of what the day-to-day is, as well as what he's seeing in the field in real time. So we will be having all this information below in the details in the descriptions on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, as well as all other social media platforms. And please check the man out. He's giving you guys key insights from a younger perspective. With that being said, I also encourage everyone to subscribe to FutureProof Careers for more enlightening discussions. And with that being said, connect with us on all social media platforms at Previewed.Careers. You can go to our website, sign up, join that wait list. But at the same time, once we're live, you would be able to tap into these type of roles, into these trades, but not only tap in and hop into the trades, but also have the ability to continue to upskill as you're working, to whereas you can fast track yourself and make yourself the best version, to whereas like we can go back to it, you gather the skills to pay the bills. So again, I thank you again, Chris, and Minnie. It's been an amazing episode. And any final questions or updates on your end, Minnie, that you'd like to share with the
Thank you
public
so
as
much.
well?
Thank you. This was a wonderful episode, and I'm super excited for this to come out. And I hope all the viewers listening to this, at least one of them, will take this path and then succeed and and make a big career for themselves.
Yes, I agree.
And we will follow you as well and see where the future takes you.
I appreciate you guys having me on. It's really an honor. It's truly an honor to be on the podcast, and I appreciate you, Brian, Minnie. It's been a pleasure.
Same here.
Likewise, Chris.
Nice
I
meeting you.
appreciate it.
Nice meeting you guys.
Nice meeting you as well. All right, folks.
Thank you.
Tuning out, but we'll check back in with you on the next episode of FutureProof Careers on the Couch with Preview with myself and Minnie and another amazing guest. Peace.